Have you ever been with someone that was consistently shitty? Let me explain. I've dated people that were consistent in my life, but they were so consistently shitty. And for some reason, I got it in my head that that was love. So I was choosing consistency over love. And let me tell you, it really destroyed me from the inside out because all that time I spent thinking that this was love and that this is what it should feel like, I was completely wrong and I was destroying my self esteem and allowing things that I would have never allowed my friends to go through. So, why did I stay? Good question. I don't know the answer. Actually, I do. I grew up in a really toxic household and I accepted, well, I didn't really have a choice of accepting, but I lived through a lot of shitty experiences and my nervous system was always on a roller coaster, up and down, up and down. I never knew what to expect from my mom. I never knew what to expect from my family members, and I was always on high alert. And I think that when I met this person, I thought that that's what love was. And I still had that deep internal understanding of or believe that love is supposed to feel this way. Love is supposed to be rocky. Love is supposed to be hard. And I didn't realize it until I just genuinely became exhausted and didn't really want to be there anymore. And even up until recently, not too long ago, I was in a relationship where I wasn't really celebrated and wasn't really encouraged. I wasn't really supported. I was disrespected constantly, and it was really dragging me down. And I was always wondering, like, why is this person in the position that they're in? And I was just like, they're so wonderful. They're so talented, so capable. And then slowly but surely, I started to realize, like, oh, actually, like, they're not a good person necessarily. Like, they're not a bad person either. They're not like, hitting me or screaming at me or, being super verbally abusive. But what they were doing was they were being disrespectful. They were belittling me. Belittling me. Blah, 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 blah. Excuse me. English is my second language, so please don't kill me. But yeah, I genuinely felt like I didn't really have an out. I felt like wrong for feeling like they were wrong for me because I'm like, he does so many good things. He does show up. They do show up. They do care about me. And at the end of the day, I started to believe that I was being dramatic. They would make me believe that I was being overly emotional and that I shouldn't feel this way. And for the longest time, I started to believe it. And that's where I was in my life. But then I started to thankfully see things online. Thank you to the algorithm, because it started showing me videos to make me realize, like, oh, actually, no, this is not just me. This feeling's not coming from nowhere. It's coming from somewhere. Because they would be so nice to strangers, so nice. They would be like super jolly and try to be kind to everyone around them on the outside while they were performing. Like, everyone that was around them that didn't really know them, that was like a brief interaction, they would be so kind. And then when it came to me, they would be so disrespectful. They would not give me anything for Valentine's. On my birthday, it was like the most bare minimum. Like, yeah, sure, I'll take you to dinner. Yeah, okay, here's like a cheap gift. Like, it just had no thought, no care behind the actions. And I just started to feel super sad. And I'm like getting a little emotional right now because it's like, I can't believe I let myself sit through it. And I hope that Crystal in the future could watch this and be like, wow, I'm so proud of you because I don't do that anymore. And I hope that you guys realize that consistency does not equal love. Someone can be consistently an asshole and still make you feel like crap and unloved, right? So please choose love over consistency. Like, choose people that show you care, that appreciate what you say, that take into consideration your preferences and what you want. And if you want flowers for Valentine's Day and you ask for flowers for Valentine's Day and they're like, oh, too bad, I'm gonna get you something else, or like, I don't do Valentine's Day, then like that's your answer right there. That's your answer to like move forward. If you don't want to be celebrated like that on your birthday or Valentine's Day, then fine, that's your preference and let it be, right? Not, it doesn't matter to everyone, but if it does matter to you and you've let that be known and they still didn't choose to carry out, a plan for them to show you the appreciation, then that's an answer in itself, okay? So just be mindful of what you're choosing in your relationships. Be mindful of the kind of people that you're allowing in your life, because consistency does not equal love, okay? Like, they can be consistently mean, they can be consistently an asshole, they can be consistently shitty, and that's just not a good feeling in your body. And then it makes you think you're crazy because you're like, oh, but they're being so consistent, they're being so persistent, and they always keep coming back. Just because they keep coming back, it does not mean you keep taking them. It does not mean you should keep taking them, because it's not compatible. And at a certain point, you're gonna have to just be like, okay, like, this is not compatible, because I keep feeling like crap in this relationship. Why do I keep feeling like I have to beg? Why do I have to keep asking to be loved in a specific way? And you should always voice your love language, how you like to receive love, right? You should always let that be known. You should say it out loud. Like, teach them how to love you, not just with actions, but also with your words, right? Because if you don't tell them, how would they know? They can't read your mind, right? But once you've told them and they still choose to not celebrate you or love you in the ways that you are wanting to be loved, that's an answer too. That's just them choosing to continue their own patterns and continue their own way of being and not considering you. So that's something you should keep in mind while you're, dating and getting to know people and experiencing other people, right? Because it's super important to be aligned and to have those things align, or even have them learn how to love you correctly. It takes effort, it takes time, it takes energy. And if they're just not willing to do that, and they're always going to do what they want to do instead of what you ask them to do or what you want them to do, you're always going to be yearning, you're always going to be longing, you're always going to be wanting more. And that's just not a good feeling to be in, because then they're going to feel like unequipped to love you the right way. They're not going to feel appreciated, and you're also not going to feel valued or heard, right? You're not going to feel seen. And if they just carry on like nothing's happened, right? They just like go back to normal, like, oh, that didn't happen, oh, I didn't get you what you wanted, but like, we're back to normal, we're back to talking. Well, they're avoiding accountability. And if you keep sitting in that, it's just going to kill you even more. Like, at this point, I got to a point where like I don't feel excited with them. I don't feel excited to see them. I don't feel excited to like hear from them again, because it just really wore me out. And they see it in me. They saw it. They were like, "Oh my God, you're looking so sad. You're looking so like depleted. You're looking so docile." And it's like, yeah, you brought me here. Being with you brought me here. And it's such a sad place to be in, because I have so much light and energy in me, and when I keep associating with the wrong people, the light dims. So please don't stay in it. Please don't let your light dim because of these people. You deserve more. You deserve to be loved exactly how you want to be loved, and not how they think they should love you, or not just them doing what they are only willing to do and not what you've asked for, right? And I'm saying this with all things in mind. Like, it does not have to be how much money they spend. It doesn't have to be like they have to spend an X amount of money, or it has to be this particular thing. But it's just like effort, thought, and care that counts, right? If they're not keeping their word, if they're not showing up in the ways that you've asked them to several times, then please allow yourself to just accept it for what it is, accept the truth, and move forward. I know it's not easy. It's way easier said than done, but you know what? If you need to, keep going back until you no longer want to go back. Keep going back until they've dragged you across the floor so that you can finally be like, okay, I gave it my all, I gave it everything I had in me, and it just never changed. And then that's when you're finally gonna break the chains of that dynamic and you're gonna move forward. So please be mindful and really consider if your relationship is actually love, or you're just taking the consistent low effort that they've been giving you. That's all I had to say for today. Bye.